Yeah. Well, you might have come down a little fast for,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
maybe you could do it a little bit slower. Mine feels like when I go in the back pocket, it feels like I can't go down any farther. Okay. But let's do it this way this week. Even if you feel like you're not in the back pocket, maybe just stop at shoulder height anyway. Okay. Because it won't do you much good to go down here. Okay. Good floppy hands. Okay, now when you came down, that looks good. Did you arch your back at all as you came? As you,
Uh,
you look like you look sort of like you did this, like you arched your back a little. Yeah.
I hate like sometimes there's like a small like amount of arch that's just like I kind of just like do normally. I don't know if that's good.
Yeah, I actually am sway back, so I do too. But so but what you don't want to do is, I mean, you see the difference between that and this.
Yeah.
So you don't want to arch your back just because you're bringing your, you're moving your arms. So sit back on the kangaroo tail and very good. That part's excellent. Okay, and now flop. And now float. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, the float is just like this, and you should feel like your shoulders are completely relaxed. You know that you're not tensing up your neck at all to keep your arms in the air. Okay, and then the circle, and I'll be your wall here in front of you. Keep pronating. Here we go. Okay, that was good after you remembered to pronate. The first time wasn't, but then you fixed it. Okay, so the main thing to do with that is, with the circle part, is to pronate. So I'm going to write down here, yeah, in fact, I'm just going to kind of cut and paste. Is this the 19th? Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's close.
Okay. You've almost cured yourself of not looking down. So I did write that on there again, okay? But I can tell that that's on your brain anyway. Okay, so I'm going to put here, good floppy hands. You did that really nicely. But because you just did it this week, it probably helps to see it, right? As a reminder. And then I'm going to highlight and at top of shoulder height, because that is actually the main thing. And then the float, I kind of got the feeling that you first started going like this.
I kind of just like my brain kind of.
Okay, so yeah, it's just a very. Does it feel relaxed when you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
okay.
I just have like a sense of like kind of like pain in my shoulder that's just kind of doesn't go away.
Oh.
And I kind of just got used to it, so.
So was that painful what you did?
No, but if I do it for long enough, it will like.
Okay, last week I think we talked about the tennis ball, did we?
Yeah.
Did that help?
Didn't really happen.
Okay, well, you use the tennis ball. Okay, I might have told you I've been working out with this trainer for years, and I have a bad back, and every once in a while my back goes out. I mean, that's kind of a weird way to put it, but like I'll do something where at the middle of my back the muscle gets all tight and it feels a lot of pain. It hardly ever happens, but I remember the first time that happened, he said, well, go get a tennis ball, and then he just like pushed. I showed you about doing that, right? So whatever muscle it is, I mean, it could be in your feet, it could be, the last time I had to do it was in my calf muscle. So, you're just pressing on it. It actually really helped. Like now, a long time ago, there was a girl whose teacher sent her to me because she heard that I worked with people on that kind of thing, she actually was in horrible pain. And she couldn't play the violin. She was in high school. I think she was about 16. And she really loved playing the violin. So my goal was to get her to be pain-free. I'm not a medical expert, right? But I could feel that her muscle up in here was super tight. And so she used that tennis ball. And, then I think she came back the next week and she said, wow, well, the pain's gone away. And then I didn't see her again for a long time. And then I think she sent me an email at some point and said she never had any more pain. So it's worth doing it. If you have pain, you have to do something to fix it.
Where is the pain?
Like right here, and then like right here.
So let me know this. Okay, so when I pushed, where, here?
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a knot in there. Okay, so the best way I can describe it is your muscle fibers are all kind of like this, like a knot. Okay, and then when you press on
Just
it
a little.
with the tennis ball, it causes the muscle fibers to go like this. All right, and so they, you're sort of forcing them to do that. While that's happening, your muscles don't really like to be changed, so they're going to react by feeling pain. All right, but in this kind of case, if you don't get rid of that knot, you're going to keep feeling the pain. So you just have to kind of tough it out through it. And then, sometimes like you can, like if you press on the knot, if it's a big knot, you may have to roll it over. Usually, I always do that actually. I'll roll the tennis ball over about 1/4 of an inch. And so let me grab my tennis ball because that's something,
Good
a
posture,
lot
too.
of people actually don't really take
We
that
have
seriously.
tennis
But
Huh?
We
if
have
you have
tennis
pain,
balls.
you got to get rid of it. If you're thinking of being a violinist, you have to get to the bottom of it, or you're going to end up going to an osteopath. Or I wish I could. I had a fabulous osteopath who died kind of young from pancreatic cancer about a year ago. And I asked him before he died, he told me, he said, I don't know of anybody, I've been sending people to others and there's nobody in the area. Does that hurt a little bit?
You would think with all the Bastille people, this would be a mecca of.
You would think so.
Feels more like pressure.
But no pain?
No.
Okay, so if I go like that, is there pain?
That feels like a bone.
That feels like a bone?
Ow.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the tennis ball right there. Okay, do you feel?
Yeah.
Okay, try to relax your shoulders.
That made it worse.
I know. Sorry. So I'm going to press on it for about 20 seconds. Okay. And then I'm going to release it. Okay, so when I release it, the blood flow can go back into the muscle. Now I'm going to move it over just a tiny bit and do the same thing. Ready? Yeah. So you'll need to do this. You could easily spend 10 minutes a day doing this, but when you think, in the long run, and really.
Mom's good at that.
What?
Good.
I don't think so. So here?
I could kind of feel it in here, like you kind of feel and then she'll let you know when you hit it. Try not to tense up I know you're worried, but it hurts, but there's nothing that's going to actually, do any damage. Yeah, by
As
us
long as
pushing
you're
on it.
gentle with a massage ball.
Right,
tennis
that's
ball.
why it's a tennis ball. So if you feel, so squish that. See, it's kind of squishy. That's why we use that and not a rock to do that. Okay.
We have very squishy tennis balls.
Yeah.
Yours are really ancient. So is this, actually. This is old. So, but yeah, I would definitely do that, especially, after working with several people, I'm telling you the most on point, because hers was that same exact thing, like horrible pain, and it kept getting worse to the point where her teacher went, So my goal with her was just to get her so she was pain-free and could play again. And She really wasn't my student, but anyway, but that worked. And so, yeah, it sounds like that's what you need. In fact, I'm going to
Don't
write
bring
down
your-
here.
She often does like posture wise.
Yes.
I think good posture will help to.
Yeah. Right. If you go like this, stand with your hands when you're standing there. Stand with your hands behind your back. Yeah, that actually helps open this. Pretty much everything we do, typing, violin playing, is all in what we call the frontal plane, like this. So you're pulling your shoulders this way, and my grandmother looked like this by the time at the end of her life. She lived to be 90. So I hope I live to be 90, but I'm kind of following it. And then I have scoliosis on top of it and sway back. So I have a bad back. So, I every night I lie down on the floor with no pillow and try to, unwind my back. So, because otherwise, I know I already have what we call forward head syndrome. Most people my age start getting that, where their head starts coming forward. But yeah, this is one thing that you can do to help with that. And you can also do some stretching exercises. But for this week, just two things. Why don't you just stand like that when you're, how many times do you just stand there though? I don't know, probably not that often, but here you do. I'll intentionally do that. I actually just ran across that idea not too long ago. And then I started noticing like people in my church doing that, and I thought,
Yeah.
oh, I bet they've heard the same thing. I actually think I heard it on a PBS, one of those PBS fundraising things where they bring in experts.
Guru person, yeah.
Right. Anyway, but yeah. So, so is your mom the one who's going to be doing the tennis ball? Probably.
痛いかな?
You're no fair though complaining about it. Okay. So have your mom press on your shoulder knots with tennis ball. And I would do that every day, all right? It would be helpful, but not necessary to, like if you have one of those microwavable kind of like back wraps,
Yeah.
or just put some rice in a sock and nuke it for a bit, and then put that on there to help release. Don't use ice, though they concluded that's not good. They thought that was good for a while.
Whoops.
I'll just put here can heat area first. But again, it's not really necessary to do that. Okay, so I think that'll be really helpful. Because if you're telling me, you've told me 2 lessons now that your back hurts, so, and that, I guess this exercise kind of worries you because you think it's going to hurt more. Actually, I think it will hurt less because I think right now I'm holding my arms up, so I'm using the wrong muscles. Here I am suspending my arms. Okay, so if our shoulders have tons of different muscles that do different things. So you have to find the right muscles. That's where this exercise comes in. Okay? All right. So, and at shoulder height. And the float, go out with both elbows. But slightly out. That's really key. In fact, I'll add that word. Okay, now, and I'm going to highlight pronate because once you pronated, then you did fine with the circle. Okay, so next, the data shape bows.